So just recently I did a review on 9 of my favourite diagnostic tools. I thought to myself, if I was starting out again, I had to buy a scanner and I had a budget of say £170 max. Which scanner is the best? Well, we're going to put it to the test. I got my launch Benz scanner, I got my S500 Kingbolen, and I got the Ediag Plus. Let's get into it.
Let's move on, 'cause it's time to move on.
Diagnostic port on this is the Mercedes SL R230. Oh, we got lights, there we go. So I'll leave that down here because I don't need that now. This is just going to purely talk to my mobile phone through the Bluetooth. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my car because I haven't used this car in about 12 days, so just in case the battery's a bit low. Alrighty, right, so let's go and find the app. And we're going to pair, let's see. There we go. So now it's reading the mileage, it says, from the ECU. Do you know what? I'm going to get my glasses out so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, getting old, man, getting old. All right, glasses on. So this 3 menus here are very similar to the launch. Health report, system scan, and a system selection. The health report is going to find all the faults on the car and give you what those faults are. The system scan is going to then tell you of those individual devices. You can then go into a little bit deeper. And the system selection, if you want to go directly to, say if you've got a problem with the ABS sensor, you can go directly to that without having to run the whole scan. It's a bit quicker. So why don't we do a health report? So switch on ignition, it is. Ooh, that's nice, isn't it? So now TCM, transmission control module, that's the first item that it's checking. No faults. I must admit, I do like the way that's coming up there. It's clean, it's simple. Alright, so we're all finished with the scan. To be honest with you, it didn't take any longer than the Launch X431 or the other diagnostic tools like the Launch Creda or my iCarSoft. So that's encouraging. Let's have a look though. I want to see if it's put the codes at the top of the list, which is always nice. Yeah, and it has. So straight away, all the areas that I've got issues with, it's put it nicely at the top, nice and concise, so I can see exactly what to go on. But here you can see, look, for example, engine control management, I've got 3 DTCs. The SBC, sensotronic brake control, I've got 1. Let's go into each one individually and let's go on. So switch on ignition, well, yes, it is. Data are being determined. So here we go, all of this here on the screen, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items that you can actually go into function-wise. Module information, let's have a little look. It's going to tell me about the unit, the make, probably something like the software. So please record or print the information on this page. Okay, here we go. So we have got a control unit, it's got the part number at the top there, a Mercedes-Benz part number 1121, a supplier being Bosch. So reading fault code, if I read this now, it's going to go into it a little bit more detailed. And here we go. So these are the 3 DTCs that it came up on the initial page, or two screens before. I've got a left oxygen sensor. Now I know I've got this problem. It's an aging sensor. I just need to get around to changing that. I'm going to try and clear it. It will clear, but it'll probably come back again. So clear fault codes, switch off ignition. Some cars it doesn't require you to do that. My Honda doesn't require me to do it. Mercedes, other cars, you have to turn off the ignition. It's just the way that the control units work. You wait 10 seconds and it tells me now switch on ignition. Okay, ignition is on, press OK. And there we go, clear fault memory completed. So maintenance functions, let's have a quick look at that one. Wow, you've got DPF, let's have a look at that. Now I don't have a diesel particle filter because this is a petrol, but nevertheless you can actually download and then probably do a DPF regen. Steering angle sensor, injections, same idea. You might need to code an injector to your car. All right, let's get into it. Plug her in. Okay, so it's already looking for a VIN number by the looks of it there. Alrighty, so here is the main screen. So things I've done so far, I've already just gone into the settings. I've put in my Wi-Fi details, and there's another thing here. There's a little camera icon which allows you to take a screenshot. So I thought I'd add that feature on as well, and that's in the settings. You can also set obviously your unit of measure. I've gone for metric, and your time zone and language, etc. I'm going to go auto detect. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the key so that all the lights are on the dash, which I've done. Now let's do an automatic search. Oh, there we go. So there's a VIN code. I'm going to say yes, that's correct. Now I'm getting more details, so this is better. So it is the SL, and it is from a 09 2003 2000. It's the middle one there. Let's go into that. What I'm going to do now is go through all of the aspects of what this launch can actually talk to in terms of the modules for your particular car. In my case, obviously the Mercedes. Okay, so she's come to the end of the automatic diagnostic, and it's brought up this page here. It's got my vehicle details. And here we go. Look, it's got all of the items that have been checked, and the abnormal, obviously that must be where there's a fault. So let's go into engine control module and have a little look and see. Oh, there we go. On the left hand side you've got your DTCs, that's your trouble codes. P207F-001 left O2 sensor. So let's see what else we got here. Lower control panel, what's in there? Switch exterior mirror adjustment is defective or has been operated for longer than 25 seconds. That electronic stability program, anti-lock braking system. So let's see if we can clear those codes. Are you sure you want to clear the memory? Yes. Switch off ignition. Okay. Press OK. Now clearing. Wait for 10 seconds. And turn it back on again. Clear fault memory. OK. And it's completed. So that was in the ABS, sensor and control, and there's a tick there now. So that's good. So it's cleared the ABS faults that I had, which was excellent. So we've got an option here to do a code search. I'm connected on the internet, and there we go. You can actually, it's just like a tablet screen, isn't it? Let's have a look at the actuation test here. Oh, there we go. Activation of lift solenoids. Test sequence. Carry out actuation of component L12 left front door keyless go lift solenoid. So if I press that, so it's got the left front door keyless go left solenoid is 62.4 and the unit is volts. Specified value is 5 to 8.8. So reset voltage value of lift solenoid, that's F3, and F4 is actuation. So if I press F3, oh, there we go, we've got a 0 there now. So let's see, if I press F4, oh, that actually did a live test on the door. I just heard that there. Overhead control panel. So let's just see if the dome lamp, if I can do a test from the module here. So it says it's off. Right, so I'm going to press F3 on my launch, and we're going to see if it turns the light on. Yeah, that's nice. Lamps off. That's not bad. But the whole point is it's bi-directional, which is actually what it said on the box. And I'm getting this ability to be able to do things and control things. So up next we got the Kingbolen S500. There's also the S600 and the S800. So we've got the familiar front home screen here, just as you do actually on the launch and other Kingbolen devices. OBD is just going to go straight into finding out what the codes are. It's more of a basic function, but it gets into it quickly. Diagnostic, we'll go into that in just a second. But let's have a look at maintenance here, and you can see the 6 or so different menus that I can use. So you've got your bleeding and your ABS, your brakes, because sometimes you have to tell the car that you're working on the brakes. You've got your ETS, which is electronic throttle, injection oil and steering angle sensor. Let's go into diagnostic now. So we've got an auto search. I've also got Mercedes there because I pre-downloaded it, but let's go into auto search and see if the Kingbolen can recognize my car. So there you go, found my VIN number, very nice. I know it's correct because it starts with the 230 and then 467, which is actually to do with my engine code. So that's good, so it's found the car without me having to type in the VIN number. Reading mileage from the ECU. This is very familiar to other Kingbolens and to the launch. It must use the same software. Great. Now it's asking me for the 3 categories, which is the year of the vehicle. For me, it's the middle one. Press OK. And here we go. We've got the simple health scan, system scan, and system selection. Health report is going to give me that full report. It's going to show you all of the faults at the top. System scan, where you can go into it and you can see it in a little bit more detail. It will look at all the individual control units that the car can talk to. System selection is simply where you're going to be able to go and pick and choose exactly the device you want to go to, like the ABS, rather than going through the whole health report, because it can take some time. Let's go into health report though. Switch on ignition. And as you can see, that's done in less than a minute. Whereas if I use my other Kingbolens in the launch, it takes about 6 or 7 minutes. So I think it's more of a simplistic overview, but nevertheless, it'll help you clear codes, and that's what it's all about. So at the top of the list there, you've got this nice thumb button arrows on the right hand side, but you can also move the screen up and down as well. I guess if your hands are dirty, that's not a bad little touch actually. So people would probably think, well, why have both? But why not? I'm going to use the buttons. Just, it saves my camera going out of focus, so apologies for that. And areas that I've got faults with, I have electronic stability program, SBC, which is sensoric brake control. So let's go to the first one. I'm going to press OK, and it will give me a little bit more details of the specific fault codes. We've got the P20B7008, increased idle speed due to SBC low voltage. That's why I got the engine running. By the way, if you get more than one fault and you're a bit concerned, don't get too alarmed. Quite often, if you do get one fault, it has a knock-on effect with other sensors. Importantly, you've got to make sure that you fix the hardware fault before you go and start clearing codes. And if I clear this code, I know it's going to come back because I've got to change that oxygen sensor when I get round to it. Right, so you've got clear DTCs and you've got a report. If I press report there, then it gives you a nice little report, which I guess you can print out and send to your customer. It tells you the unit that was used, it's got the VIN number, etc., and you can expand those, and you can do it as a PDF. So I noticed that Launch and Kingbolen have that function. It's quite nice. I think this particular unit perhaps isn't aimed at a professional garage, it's more for your hobbyist. Certainly on the Launch Benz diagnostic, there's more that is going on this particular page, and you got bi-directional ability. I've read various places that this has got bi-directional control. I've yet to see it. I don't actually believe it has. It certainly is a little bit more basic than the other 2 units. When you go into certain control units, just be mindful that you're going to have certain things come on the dashboard, and that's because you're in that particular control unit. So for example, I've now gone into my SBC, which is sensoric brake control, and on the dashboard here you can see that I got a red brake warning light, but that will go once I come out of that menu. I've also got the ABS in yellow at the top there. So let's go to module information. It tells me the supplier, it tells me the control unit, it tells me the Mercedes-Benz part number as well. And that's quite nice, because quite often if you want to replace a part, instead of you having to physically remove it and get the part number, and some of them are buried in the car behind panels and things, where you can find the information along with the hardware and the software status as well. If I go into reading data stream, we've got front speed sensor, right front. So these are going to be the ABS wheel sensors. There's a Hall effect sensor. There's a tooth gear. Pretty much all cars have this, and a sensor. And as the tooth gear rotates, it sees the highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows. Yeah, you can see, look, 0 miles per hour. But if I was to drive, if I move forward slightly, that will then start to go up. So let's put it into graph. So I'll bring it into a graph, and as you drive along, you can see then if the graphs are actually together, and if one is not functioning, then there's a good chance that you've got a problem with that sensor. And exactly out of my rear right sensor, which I used a tool, actually I used my iCar soft to be able to work that out. So let's go into read fault code now. So it's telling me that the left rear speed sensor test wiring plug connection. So they've got a problem with that plug there. So that's interesting, because I haven't had that before, but nevertheless I'm going to try and clear that fault, so that's a good test. So let's go clear fault codes. Are you sure you want to clear it? Switch off ignition, it says. Okay, off, ignition's off, wait 10 seconds. On some makes you don't have to wait 10 seconds. I know on my Honda, and once I press clear it's gone straight away, but different computer systems and cars work differently. Switch on ignition. I'm just going to put it to the lights on the dash. And it says clear fault menu completed. So electronic stability program, I think I had 3 on that, but now I've got 2. So let's have a look. ABS, anti-locking brakes, and the DTR CAN communication with the engine control module is faulty. All right, well, let's try clearing those 2. So let's clear fault codes. Switch it on. Press OK. And it says it's completed. Fault code's gone. All right, let's have a look and see if they have gone. Oh, there we go. So now the 2 faults that I had have now gone, and the electronic stability program at the bottom there, ESP, we've got a green bill of health. We've got a big tick in the box there. So lastly, we've got engine control module. Let's go and clear TCCs. Let's start in one hit this time. Yes. Switch off ignition. Press OK. Wait 10 seconds. Turn it back on again. OK. Clear fault memory complete. And let's go and see if we got anything there. So now we've got all green ticks. So pretty good, pretty straightforward, but I am going to say that with a little bit of hesitation, because I know full well that if I use other diagnostic tools which are a little bit more in depth, they go into the menus a lot deeper. Certainly if I use something like a little launch Benz scanner, there's still trouble codes that remained. So you might think, oh, there's no faults with the cars, but if you use different diagnostic tools, you'll see that there are remaining faults there, because I know I've got a fault with my oxygen sensor on the exhaust, yet it's sort of cleared it there. Repair information gives you the OBD fault code library. Again, you could look that up and see. You got access to the internet, so it's probably going to be on a standalone. Yeah, so you put in the code there, you put in your P0192 whatever fault code, and it's going to tell you. But actually, to be fair, this unit does actually give you a fair bit of description on the fault code, and if you're really not sure, you probably don't want to have to come out of that screen and then use this function. I would probably just use my mobile phone. So of these 3 scanners, which is the best? Which would I go for? Well, let's get straight into it, no mucking about. They're all kind of around about the same price. They range from about 120 up to about 160 plus. Talking of plus, Ediag Plus. See what I did there? Let's look at the reason why I'd buy this. It's small, it's neat, it's compact. It will talk to over 10,000 different types of cars. That's pretty much every car out there on the planet. All you need is this, your mobile phone. Let's face it, who hasn't got your mobile phone? In fact, it's smaller in height than a mobile phone. And the lovely thing about this is if you do a lot of vehicles and you travel a lot and you don't want to have to take a larger unit along with you, you can just take this and that's it. That's all you need. You've got the cable, your mobile phone. You know, even though it's the smallest out of the bunch, it's actually probably the most advanced. So sometimes good things come in small packages. It also does all the different protocols for your CAN buses. So your FGA, your FDs, which are more like your newer General Motor vehicles, and your SGWs as well. It also does 15 plus resets. And if you compare it to the Kingbolen S500, this guy here only does 6. Types of things it can do are your ECM, your BCM, your TPMS, your battery monitoring system, your steering angle sensor, your oil reset, your injection coding. It's got loads, and all the stuff that you want for your every day-to-day stuff. Ediag Plus will have you covered for that. It does ECU coding, and there's also a function on there which does this one-click clear all DTCs, which actually, to be fair, the others also have. It also has auto VIN, which they all do as well. But perhaps the one Achilles heel to the Ediag Plus is, despite it's probably the most advanced here and it's the most neat here, the cost is around about maybe £150, and you get free updates within that 12-month period, after which you then have to pay a further £100 in order to be able to use it. You can't just use it with the software that you downloaded. So even though if you may have downloaded 100 different vehicles, it will stop working until you pay actually 2/3 of the cost. So £100, it costs £150 brand new, but you've got to keep paying that £100 every year in order to be able to continue using that. So that's a point to note. Let's move on now to the Kingbolen S500. Now there's various different versions. There's the S600 and the S800. Interestingly, the S800 is actually not as expensive as the S600, so it doesn't sort of go up in numbers, meaning it's better the higher you go. The S600 will do more service resets than the S500. The S500, this has got 6 service resets. You have the standards, your ABS bleeding, your injection coding, your oil, your battery, your steering angle sensor, and your throttle, electronic throttle adaptation, etc. It has the largest screen out of the three, but then again it depends on your mobile phone, because my mobile phone actually, when you look at it here, is slightly longer, but as a hardware piece of device it's got the largest screen. It's a 5-inch screen. They've all got Android. It does free updates for life. So whatever vehicle you want to get, this does 75 different car brands, and you can update that software for life, which is great. It's a lovely little thing to have. When I went into it, when I normally do a health report scan, it takes a good 6 minutes or so for it to do a full report. This did it within 45 seconds, which at first I thought was great. But actually it's because it didn't go into it as deep. Now, it still found fault codes and it still allowed me to clear it. But once I finished working on it, all the codes are gone. And I know full well that that's not the case, because there's a sensor on my car that I got to replace before those codes will fully disappear. I've also got a switch on my handle on the driver's side which I need to replace, and again it didn't pick that up, so it didn't go as deep. So let's go on to the launch Benz. This here, it's the smallest screen of the lot. It's only got a 4-inch screen, but unlike the S500, this little fella allows you to go onto the internet, so you can actually go onto Google and all the rest, which is quite nice. Having said that, everyone's got their mobile phone in their pocket, so if you want to look up codes and all the rest, then you can just use your mobile phone. The S500 doesn't have that. It does have a lookup table with a piece of software, but it doesn't have, you can't just go onto YouTube or Google. This launch Benz, you can. So of these three, this does the largest amount of resets. 50 plus different types of resets this does. The Kingbolen S500 only does 6. The Ediag Plus, that only does 15. This does 50 plus. It also has updates for life as well. Now you can download other vehicles at a cost, but it don't cost very much, maybe about 45, 50 pounds. So actually it makes sense, rather than paying another £100 to be able to use your Ediag Plus, which can talk to 10,000 cars. Well, pretty much this can as well, but you pick and choose which cars you want. And once you've got that software, then you can keep using it. So that's actually a big bonus. But what the S500 doesn't have compared to the Ediag Plus and the launch Benz is that this doesn't have really bi-directional control. These two units, these do. You can actually perform tests and turn functions on and off, like door locks and lights, etc. This also comes with a 5-year warranty as well. And you've got a budget of around about 120 to about 160 pounds, and you're looking for a diagnostic tool. For me, I would go with the launch Benz scanner, because this guy here will do all the different functions that these two and a whole lot more. It also gives you free updates and everything else as well. And I think this, for me, being bi-directional, the price of what it is, even though it is probably the most expensive, but it is the most value for money. The Kingbolen S500 is just a bit too basic for me. I didn't find it went into the menus in the same way. Even though it's got software updates free for life, it's not much point in having that if it doesn't go into the depth of diagnostic that you need. Also, you couldn't do bi-directional ability on this. The Ediag Plus has bi-directional ability, but it comes at a cost because you have to pay that subscription every year. And as I said, that's about 2/3 of the cost of the unit. So I think in summary, really, the launch Benz for me was the best of the lot. It went the deepest into the diagnostics. It had the most functions by far. But as well as that, let's just say you decided you want to go and sell your Mercedes and get a BMW. Well, you can do that. You can then just pay for and download the software, and it costs less than half the cost of the upgrade fee for the Ediag Plus. It's only about maybe about £45 or so. And then you've got a device that will do both Mercedes and BMW and whatever car you want, because this will do about 10,000 different types of cars, pretty much every car on the planet. So as you change your vehicle, you've still got a piece of hardware that you just download the software and then you can use. It also goes into it in the most depth. So thanks so much, by the way, for getting to the end of this video. I just hit 11,000 subscribers, quite exciting really, and I love reading all the comments that you have, so I appreciate it if you did subscribe to me, and I'll keep doing these videos so long as they're helping you guys out there, which is what it's all about. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.